Hi, Dangerous Minds here. This video continues the esoteric themes recently introduced and seeks to tie some of the topics together. This series will focus on the beliefs of false prophets, in particular the B'nai Baruch, and if I botched that, sorry, from now on I'm calling it BB, sect run by Michael Lightman and espoused by his inner circle protege such as Tony Kosanich. This introduction would have taken a lot longer to compile were it not for the wonderful work of the Beware of False Kabbalah WordPress blog. So a big shout out and recommendation to anyone seeking deeper understanding of the pitfalls of jumping into Kabbalah ministries without due diligence. The themes tie in with any cult leader, so the Laurie Vallow thing going on with the cult references around that one also tie into this because the mechanisms are the same, whether it be Charles Manson or a Jones situation, any type of cult, well, even the media and what's going on today with the coronavirus, it all ties in with the same system of coercive language and persuasion that's being used to change our thinking and accept things that we shouldn't be accepting necessarily. So that's what this is all about, and if anyone gets anything from it, great. If not, well, switch out and c'est la vie. So Kabbalah is mystical teaching of unknown roots and much conjecture. Many feel a need to understand is cloaked reverence, feeling a divine connection drawing to the knowledge steeped in the mystery of esoteric tradition. And what esoteric simply means is hidden. And this knowledge has been hidden, and a lot of other knowledge has been hidden and not readily available to most people in our paradigm. So that's the only thing that esoteric means. Other than that, it's not really as woo-woo as people might think. Now, there's a few reasons that it might have been hidden. A, it's deliberately hidden because the people utilising its precepts don't want the rest of us to know what's going on, and it's easier to manipulate behind the scenes if most of the people are in ignorance and they're holding the keys and pretending that they're better than everybody else. It's easier to keep people in their clique. And this is where the Cabal, C-A-B-A-L, rather than the Cabal, which is the K-A-B-B-A-L, the Kabbalah versus the Cabal, comes into it. And a lot of us are feeling the influences of this type of thinking. Now, Lightman has produced some very interesting work that looks straight into the minds of the Cabal rather than the Kabbalah, although he professes it to be the Kabbalah. So what we're going to do is we're going to dissect it. There's a 16-part series. We're going to dissect each part. And the revelations in it, some of it are mind-blowing to those that are interested in this and want to make sense of what's going on, and some of the history that is prehistory to what we are told is history. And when you watch this series and dissect it for what it's actually telling us and the insights it's giving us accidentally, everything starts to make sense in a whole new way to those of us that have been looking for answers for quite some time. So what is Kabbalah and what is its purpose? Well, these two questions often mark the intersection of the tree of life itself, the diversion of the two paths, the dichotomy of life, knowing and belief. The path to answers can be rocky and perilous, and the journey corrupted by ill intent disguised as beguiling for its enlightenment. Michael Lightman appears to be one of those obstacles and a prime study for the explanation and insight into the workings of the cultist mind. For on his website he openly expounds and elucidates his mind, methods and intent. Now, BB teaches those seeking answers the inner workings of a cultist psyche, displayed through hubris, self-entitlement and unbridled arrogance, yet still appealing to those requiring succour from a dubious source. The wolf in sheep's clothing is the ideal enticer, the perfect Pied Piper to entrance the seeker with pinpoint coercive persuasion techniques. And Michael Lightman, through his words on his website, openly brags about his brilliance for tactical acumen in the coercive domain. Insight revealed by analysing the 16-part series of his protege Tony Kosinich, the presentation on Lightman's version of the Kabbalah is priceless. The present, hand-picked for obvious reasons, gives little doubt of the guiding hand Lightman has played in choosing this man as his protege. An astute viewer would spot cultish coercion early in the series and relish the rare opportunity to dissect the unfolding cult mechanics. The series takes divine teaching of Kabbalah and twists it into the mind of the Kabbalist. The manipulation techniques are mesmerizing and intriguing. The response of those who lap it up like thirsty dogs on a scorching summer day is simply priceless. One disgruntled ex-member described the experience in an eye-opening memoir, part of which reads, "There was a general difficulty among members of BB in criticising Lightman, even constructively. They all seemed to speak of him as if he was a sort of god or messiah. Many a pair of eyes would light up when the words Rav would pass their lips." Rav is what they called him. She goes on, "While the group was officially non-hierarchical, Lightman did have an inner circle which was referred to in hallowed terms by his many dedicated students who seemed to have suspended all rational thought. I disagreed with BB's stance that their way was the only way and no other way was acceptable or even possible." Now, these are typical traits of members entranced and beguiled by charismatic figures, and then the one who wakes up. Members are told that it's a great honour to be part of BB. Allegedly, the Creator has chosen them to reveal the wisdom of the Kabbalah and spread it throughout the world. Therefore, they are special. A typical theme of cultists solidify the group by raising their self-importance and bonding them in a particular cause. The cause will always be a struggle, and devotion to it will bring reward through sacrifice, a theme readily disseminated and dispersed through followers. As many would agree, life towards a greater good could be characterized in these terms. Interdependence is encouraged, and seeking guidance or opinion outside the group is frowned upon, demeaned, often prohibited. We have the answers is the pervading message. Others will lead you astray, follow us, or be ostracized and go back to being an ignorant creature. Threats of various excommunication methods hold a carrot to conform. Michael Lightman, being the example we will develop, assures his flock they are the chosen of the chosen. Everyone else are merely steps up the ladder, a way for them to achieve greatness. What is Michael Lightman's idea of greatness, you might be wondering? For that insight, a brief visit to his website holds crucial keys to that end. Here are some of the enlightening quotes regarding persuasive, coercive techniques and Lehman's goals and worldviews. Through real brainwashing, we will come to understand the importance of integration, unity, and mutual guarantee. Then we will miss this. We will suddenly desire this. Why? It's because the general awareness of the importance prevailing in the environment will rule over me since I am under its influence. This is Michael Lightman from There Is No Life Without Mutual Guarantee, August 2011. Now, reading this in June 2020, one wonders if the Cabal follows these precepts concerning social lockdown. When we miss our freedom, we will herald those who give it back to us. However, the riots in the US have put a spanner in the wheels of that plan. We shall watch with deepened curiosity on how that plays out in certain arenas. Will the influence prevail, or will other factors interrupt it? As Lightman goes on to elucidate, all of this is an enormous amount of information that must go through him and gradually brainwash his so-called brain. You cannot call it anything else, and he willingly agrees with it. We do not hide what we are doing. We are reprogramming him. Interesting, this from a speech called What Determines the Group's Charter. Again, this gives an insight into Cabal thinking. We do not hide what we are doing. This is true. They do not hide it anywhere other than in plain sight. And we are all undergoing an attempt to reprogram our concepts and perceptions of social norms. Lightman continues, but how can this be done, you ask? The answer is by realizing your free choice through creating an environment around you that will constantly brainwash you and press on your feelings with the profit of bestowal. Now think about that. The environment around us is attempting to brainwash us and press our feelings to fear coronavirus and accept whatever is coming down the line. Many of us are aware it is all for the profit of the bestower. Lightman has the handbook to the Cabal's mind. And he goes on, a person can check how included he is in the group and whether it is able to provide a new intention for him. Obviously, bestowal is opposite to his nature, and he is initially unwilling to do this. Yet he must artificially build himself and his environment so it really brainwashes him. Michael Lightman, speaking in Upwards Along the Degrees of Intention. Now, this is quite a diabolical concept. Through a need to feel part of the group, the individual will accept a new intention, even if otherwise he may have been unwilling to do so. Induced by an artificial environment to brainwash him, it's coercive persuasion perfectly executed. Think about how that is playing out today. The Lightman template is the Cabal's handbook. It's playbook 101. Create the environment to make the unwilling participant accept things he wouldn't normally. Lightman then explains it to us. He says, how can I get a desire for it? If it is possible, if I get impressed by the environment that tells me about it, meaning I need a good, big environment that will brainwash me to such a degree that I will really want something I do not want now. And we can see that the society is able to do it. Honestly, you would think he's describing what's playing out today. This isn't coincidence. This is Cabalist, explained for anybody willing to listen. What Lightman is explaining is to bring an unwanted outcome to fruition. All that is necessary is to create a desire for it, create an environment that changes thinking to welcome it. Are you people watching and processing this script? And he goes on, if those around you start brainwashing you, you will begin to appreciate bestowal. Why don't I bestow? You will be walking around with this question from morning to night. Why do I lack it? Where can I find it? Perhaps here, perhaps there. You will look for it everywhere, as if hypnotized. It's a fundamental application of the brainwashing techniques. Coercive Persuasion 101, explained by a perpetrator. Those who question the intuitive niggle that things aren't right will come to realize 2 + 2 is 5 once they are fully hypnotized and the bestower is well aware. Many do without conscious thought. He then goes on to apply the technique to his own product. It doesn't matter that I want to manipulate myself into buying the spiritual product. I put this desire through the group, through their desires, and it returns to me in an unrecognizable form. As a result, I become inspired and literally, out of necessity, strive towards spiritual fulfillment. Now, this for me is a truly face palm moment. twist the message and it returns to you with the desired outcome. Apparently, in Cabal terms, that's spiritual fulfillment. Now, when you think about it, that actually makes a lot of sense in a really twisted way. There's something very psychopathic about these messages. It's all about the selfish entitlement of the bestower. No empathy, no conscience, no remorse. It's pure, unabated, openly stated manipulation to achieve the desired outcome. He even goes on to explain motivation. They brainwash me with messages they don't believe. They want to sell me a product and make a profit on being the advertisers for it, while I take their words seriously and exert great effort to purchase the spiritual world for myself. He is explaining the coercive manipulation tactic that is being used. The messages being given aren't believed by those giving it. They just know that they are going to sell it to the purchaser who only desires that one thing, which in his case is the desire for the person to reach the spiritual world for themselves. In the Cabal's case, in the pervading environment they have created, the vaccine, the body tattoo, the DNA given by proxy through these blood tests for coronavirus, giving away our freedoms is what we're going to give away to get out of our black hole that they have put us in to desire the things we never would have desired. As Lightman explains, it's brainwashing, and it's brainwashing through coercion. And notice the subtle use of written words. Purchase the spiritual world. The spiritual world is not an economic transaction, yet in the mind of the Kabbalist, the commodity is tradable on the open market. One final quote, which holds more truth of the original intention than probably any other. Lightman says, "We're all inside a closed system. The condition of entering the group is that you have no free choice." I don't think that one needs any further explanation.